Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Cicero Regular Town Board Meeting, Wednesday, June 25th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. Please note there are two exits in the rear of the room and one to my right. And if you would please silence your cell phones and stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and remember those who are serving in harm's way. Thank you. Anyone like to come up and speak on behalf of the agenda items before we start the meeting, other than the public hearing? Is this other than the public hearing, Jim? It is? Turn your mic. Oh, okay, go ahead.
So I think it was 2 weeks ago, your last meeting, you guys brought up the Americana project.
Yep.
And some fire stuff was talked about, some safety. So I just wanted to touch on that because unfortunately I can't stay because I gotta go to a county meeting because we're putting on a presentation about the apartment fire. So I have met with the owner and the engineering multiple times. Actually, before he started the project, he sat us down, he goes, "What do you want from us?" Showed us the plans. We moved some hydrant locations. We didn't like where they were. We asked them to move them. We also asked for additional hydrants, and then we asked for connections into the buildings, just to make sure they're out on the front side for us to access. Obviously, you can see on the map, apartment complexes are apartment complexes. They're narrow. Our apparatus gets in, we block everything off. It's not going to change. I did attend some meetings with him when he was looking for the second access. The second access, as I mentioned to him, and as well as to codes, it would only grant me additional work for the one building. It's not going to help me with any apparatus on the other side. So I was all set. I'm okay with everything he's presented. It was brought up about the future with the smoke detectors into the attic spaces. That's something we're working on with planning. The planning board, we're putting on a presentation actually July 16th to start trying to move forward with future builds to put that in, as well as firewalls all the way up. And I haven't brought that up with the builder because this project wasn't approved yet. So once that is, I'll give him a call. We'll talk about it, adding that in, is because that's a minor cost enhancement. So, but if there's any questions for fire before I have to leave, because I know you guys had some people were talking about some things. So I just wanted to touch on that. If you're good. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, with that being said, we will open up the public hearing. Oh, number 3, go ahead. I'm sorry, apologize.
Move for the adoption of a resolution approving abstracts number 24 dated 6/18/25 and abstract 25 dated 6/25/25.
Second. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Vote no, abstain, passed. Okay, so we'll, continuation of the public hearing, consider the plan unit development for the property located at Route 31, tax map number 090.01-07.6, Monterey Development LLC, proposed mixed use or mixed residential development, Americana of Cicero. And we left it open on the last meeting on June 11th. And what time is it now? We'll open it up again, 6:33 PM. Okay,
Good.
Tim, go ahead. You got to turn that on? Just hit the button up there.
Good evening, Tim Coyer, Iannuzzi and Romans Land Surveying. Last time we were here was 2 weeks ago. One of the big concerns was the lack of information for the board and making sure that the board had everything that they needed to do a full review, and we fully understand that. We submitted a full set of full paper prints of everything involved with the project, and I also emailed the board separately with PDFs of everything that we've gone through with this project. Tonight, I handed out smaller copies of part of everything that we went through. I kind of highlighted some of the most important things that were concerns that came up with the last meeting. As you can see, the very first thing was the Cicero Volunteer Fire Department letter that we got. Thank you for Mr. Perrin for coming up and talking to the board ahead of time. The fire code issue and the fire apparatus issue that has been settled, we believe, with the fire department, as you heard. So I wanted to make sure I included that letter with the board. And if anybody in the audience wants any extra copies, I got extra copies of everything right here. Feel free. The second thing in your packet there is the email correspondence for the DOT and the right-of-way and the access drive out to 31. Again, this is something that has been vetted with New York State DOT. They're fully compliant and okay with what we're proposing as far as full access with 120 units in the back. We actually back in 2021, which is the first email that you should have on your packet, we reaffirmed that confirmation with the DOT prior to submitting everything to the board for our initial PUD application. With that packet, I also included the traffic study that goes through, and in theory, with modifications, you could get up to 200 units back there safely with the traffic study that was done. Other concerns that came up was grading and drainage. I resubmitted the plan that shows that the neighboring property to the east is, the house itself is more than 500 feet away. But with that, you got the full SWIP that was done for the planning board and the site plan package that shows all the grading and all the mitigation we're doing for the drainage purposes and making sure that nothing is affecting any of the surrounding properties. The SWIP was reviewed and approved by the town planning board engineer, Mr. Parrish. Again, he was great working with our engineer to redesign it twice. I'm trying to think of all the issues that possibly came up last week. The only other one I could possibly bring up is the spot zoning concern that was brought up. If you look at the current comprehensive plan, this area is supposed to be, or in theory, going to be town center zoning. Honestly, I think this fits perfectly with that type of mixed residential use with commercial out front with walkability to be able to come out to potential future commercial projects out on Route 31 itself. With all private drives, private sidewalks, people would live in the back and then walk to the front for possible commercial uses out front. I'm fully open to answer any more questions, concern that the board has. Hopefully you guys had enough time to review everything. We've gone through a full site plan package. Not for anything, the planning board was great. All of the concerns that the neighbors brought up were brought up by the planning board, even though those neighbors weren't there at the site plan meetings, and we mitigated and went through all those concerns ahead of time. So your planning board did a great job of looking at all that.
Tim, you met with the, not here, they're not here right now, the residents from the last time. You provided them your number and all that kind of stuff. Good.
Nobody contacted me directly, but I did talk to a number of them outside after the
Okay,
meeting.
great. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone like to come up and speak for or against the project? Oh, come on up.
Rob Santucci, Braniff Circle. I want to state for the record that I support this project. We are going to need to increase housing here in Cicero. It's an issue that we've talked about for some time. This board has addressed, and we have to do this. I have two concerns. And even though the DOT says that one ingress egress is going to be enough for 200-ish cars, if you multiply the number of cars by apartments and all, I just think that that's going to put a tremendous stress on that area. And the second thing is that even though I'm supporting this, I'm saying that we've got to take a look and talk about smart, sustainable growth that doesn't pack too much into the 31 and 11 corridor. As we know, traffic is always going to be a problem there, even when the roads get widened. If we put too much there, we are going to have a problem, and we need to look at other areas with developers to try to not cram a lot into there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name's John Bolton. I'm here actually representing my mother-in-law, Joyce Andrews, who lives at 5691 Route 31. Earlier today, I had emailed all of you some pictures. Unfortunately, Counselor Hogan's email kept coming back undeliverable, so I made her a copy. I see she's not here, but if somebody wants to get it to her, that's great. Here's my biggest concern. As the gentleman stated earlier, I understand the project. I understand everybody's gone through all their regulations and all their checking. One thing I just want to make you aware of is the pictures that you saw today that I sent you are of my mother-in-law's house right across from Karate John's. And in full transparency, that was 4 years ago when it was a deluge of rain, all came within 7 or 8 hours. But routinely, her property floods like this about 25% of that much. So it doesn't always flood up to her front yard like that picture shows. There's a picture there from the backyard. It doesn't flood all the way up there, but it's about 25% of what you see right now is what her property floods. Supervisor Aragano has been fantastic in working with me and DPW and having DPW go out and look at this area and seeing what can be done. I've dealt with the state. I've dealt with the town. I had a fantastic 1-hour conversation today with your engineer, Kate. Kate, fantastic person to deal with. I almost didn't come because of what she explained to me, but I had emailed all of you and said that I would be coming, so I wanted to come. I just want to make you aware, if you can bring up the picture of the property with the circle down in the right-hand corner. It's a screenshot, the last one. Okay, so that circle that you see is my mother-in-law's house on Route 31. That blue line with the white arrows are what it was explained to me as where the drainage presently goes. It goes right down along the side of her property, clogs up in a catch basin, goes under Route 31, down between Karate John's and that other property, and just keeps on flowing under Crabtree. I've been told by the town, I've been told by the state, everything is good, there's nothing we can do. Maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. I've been advised that down the road when they redo 31, that there's a possibility they could put in a bigger catch basin. So that if right now it's a 20-inch pipe, they could go to a bigger pipe. But her property floods right up to her house when it's heavy, heavy rains. When it's not heavy rains, it's about 25% of the pictures that you see. So just a couple of questions I have. If that's the way the water flows now, presently, what's going to prevent that water from flowing that way in the future? I looked at another print that was on your website, and it showed stormwater basin B, stormwater basin A, then it showed a filtration bioretention basin C. Am I to understand that when this project starts, things are going to be put in place to prevent that water, which is up in the green area, that's the whole wet area. Is something going to be done to prevent that from flowing down behind Abel Smith Tent and the old awning company into that catch basin? The other question I had, if there's going to be processes put in place to prevent the water from flowing, when's that going to happen? Is that right after they start digging? Is that phase 1, phase 2? When does it have to be done to prevent or try to capture some of that water from coming down into her property? Honestly, 100% behind the project. I think it has to be done. We need the housing. It's a great project. I understand the concerns with traffic and stuff like that, but just trying to get some answers for her on how's this going to affect her property. And unfortunately, it does not butt up against that property. We wish it did, because there's your second access road. But unfortunately, her property ends before that piece. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.
And part of the packet that I handed out today was the full grading plan for the site that you guys did see. We do have detention ponds in this area and in this area to catch the water prior to emptying into the wetlands. No matter what, the drainage patterns as they said today have to stay. The drainage patterns as they said today, we can't affect that. That's, per the SWIP. And to answer his question, typically the detention ponds in the lower areas are constructed first for that purpose, to catch the water as they're doing the construction. And there'll be like full stormwater prevention plans as far as like silt fences and all that put in while they're prior to doing all the major construction, so that none of the runoff will go into the neighboring properties and all that. That has to be done. That's part of the SWIP requirements.
A question I have for you, Kate, the pipe that goes on the road obviously is probably too small. The water doesn't go in a way, when we get a heavy rain like that, like this is an issue when you get heavy rain in that area.
I have to go see what size it is, but I was just bringing up to Mr. Bolton, since DOT is doing that project, we can look at it, and if it makes sense to upsize it, there might actually be an opportunity. It would be several years down the way, but we should look at it. But we also discussed, water also comes from the northeast corner. There's two things that feed in there. But probably this development with the stormwater management areas, hopefully it shouldn't make it worse. It perhaps will probably make it a little better, because these ponds and stuff are built to detain it. So it meters out the
Release it.
water more slowly. So it shouldn't, so hopefully there'll be an improvement just with that project. But we can also talk to DOT as well.
Perfect. Anyone else? No? Okay. We'll close the public hearing at 45. No comments from the board? None? Okay. The seeker, move for the adoption resolution declaring the application of the Monterey Development LLC for mixed residential plan unit development containing 96 apartment units and 24 townhouse style dwelling units as the unlisted action for the purpose of seeker compliance. The proposed action involves no other permit granting authorities outside the town. The proposed action will not have any negative impact on the environment and does not require the preparation of a draft environmental statement, impact statement.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
You wish to vote no?
No.
Wish to vote abstain? Okay. Move the adoption resolution to approve the application of the Monterey Development LLC for the mixed residential plan unit development containing 96 apartment units and 24 townhouse dwellings to be known as local law number 7 of 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no
No.
or abstain? Passed. Okay.
Move the adoption resolution, the town board of the town of Cicero assume the role of lead agency pursuant to New York State Environmental Quality Review Act in regards to the application known as Circle T Enterprises LLC requesting a change in zoning district from agricultural AG to industrial IN for the property located at 6709 East Taft Road, tax map number 059.01-25.1.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move the adoption resolution calling a public hearing on July 9th, 2025, commencing at 6:30 PM local time to consider the application known as Circle T Enterprises LLC, requesting a change in zoning district from agricultural AG to industrial IN for the property located at 6709 East Taft Road, tax map number 059.01-25.1.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
Set bid for police department custodial services. Move to adopt the resolution to accept bids for custodial services for the town of Cicero Police Department located at 6200 State Route 31, Cicero, New York, 13039 on Monday, July 7th, 2025 at 11 a.m. at the Cicero Town Hall, 8236 Brewerton Road, Cicero, New York, 13039. Specs may be obtained on Cicero Police Department, Town Clerk's Office, and on the town website, www.ciceronewyork.net.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve truck number 35 motor repair at Beam Mac in the amount not to exceed $8,000, budget code 003-5130-4330-0000 for emergency repairs.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Or abstain? Passed.
The town of Cicero was selected to participate in the 2025 Title VI compliance review by the New York State DOT Office of Diversity and Opportunity. Move the adoption resolution to allow the supervisor to sign the Title VI assurances and questionnaire. Failure to submit this information may result in loss of federal assistance.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution approving the submission of a CFA to provide funding to purchase a vacuum truck for catch basin cleaning and allow the supervisor to sign all related documents. If awarded, $400,000 will be available towards the purchase of a new vacuum truck. The remaining amount of funding, approximately $110,000, will need to be provided by the town of Cicero.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. I like seeing these grants for an opportunity for us to get a new brush truck. Be great. Or I'm sorry, a back truck.
Move for the adoption of a resolution that the town board acknowledges receipt of this notification and authorize the supervisor to execute a letter affirming the town's position that they have no objection to the issuance of a one-day liquor permit for Ashley Lynn Winery on July 3rd, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. at Rosie's Corner at 9689 Brewerton Road, Brewerton, New York, for the 4th of July event. The permit holder is responsible for adhering to all relevant laws and regulations, including those related to the service and sale of alcoholic beverages and those concerning public safety.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Move the adoption resolution to accept a donation from Well Now in the amount of $500 for Park and Recreation Summer Concerts. Budget code 001-7989-4000-0000.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. Discussions. Anybody have any discussion items?
I did. 1 second.
Mike, while Mike's preparing for that, I just want to I want to thank the emergency service personnel. I want to thank our highway department, our police department, and everyone who responded to the call, or the calls, I should say, for service the other night with the storm that we had. It could have been much worse, but I want to thank them personally, the highway department, going out, cutting trees out, cutting down trees, and the fire department's responding. So thank you very much for what you do. Go ahead.
I had the homeowner at 6102 Gase Blaine again reach out saying that the pipe is higher than the actual easement. So if we can go back out and look at that. We redid it a couple years ago. So. Okay. I believe it's what, yeah.
We have a grant. I just want to bring this up. We have a grant that can be used for some equipment. And I just want to ask the board what they think about purchasing or looking to purchase an excavator that has tracks and floats on it that I can send you some more information that can go in drainage and easements and clean them out. And I also spoke to the county and they're willing to give us some money towards it. So I'm not sure prices right now, but I want to just hear from the board what they think, if it's something worthwhile to do.
Floats like.
It's a excavator and it has a carriage underneath it and it has a couple tracks on it, but it floats. It literally can go in the water and float and not sink down.
So this could be used for some of the stuff over off Codnoy.
It could be. It could be used there. It could be used along all of our drainage and stuff like that.
I mean, obviously, I'd like to see what the total cost is, what the grant would cover, but
Sure.
that seems like something that would be extraordinarily useful.
Sure. And I'll send it to the board. I'll send it to everybody.
Thanks.
Anything else? No? Okay, Shannon, you want to give us an update on the parks?
Okay, so summer camp starts next week. It's a 6-week program. The police and fire departments have been notified about it in case they have to respond. Our first lakeside concert is next week at Williams Park. It's it's tomorrow night, and it's Lauren Barragar. So make sure you guys come out. It's from 6 to 8. National Grid is replacing the field lights at Central Park. So they're all going to be LED. That begins July 7th. There's going to be resurfacing of the tennis courts to pickleball courts at Skyway. That also starts July 7th. And the last update I have is next week, the parks crew are going to start constructing all of the playground or the dog park equipment. And they will be installing that at Skyway within the next month too. So
Shannon, if you can let us know when that's going to be finished, we can do a ribbon cutting there.
yes, absolutely.
Everybody-
And
we'll have-
also
we'll
with
make it an event. We'll make it like a dog friendly event.
absolutely, yeah. And the last thing I wanted to say about the National Grid is they're going to take before and after pictures of the light differences at the field. So the league that plays there is going to be able to play more night games and accommodate more teams.
Thank you, Shannon. Anything else? Anybody from the public like to come up and speak? Okay, if not, Judy, come on up.
Good evening. I was at, or I have been at several times at the Plank Road Park. And this last weekend was the final for all the kids' soccer games. And obviously more grandparents and whatever show up for these. But they do also during the season. I would ask that we put in the budget for next year that those walkways get concrete and the parking lot gets paved. Because I saw an elderly woman fall because she had a walker and she was trying to walk in the grass because she couldn't walk in the stone. Fortunately, she wasn't hurt. Somebody picked her up and off they went. But the parking lot's a mess and the walkways are horrible because of it's the larger stone. It's not even a small pea stone or anything. And the other thing is, Chief, were you notified of the famous rat run in Muskrat Bay? Well, yeah. Oh, well, they put up a couple of signs of a rat, which people obviously knew was a rat run. But there's one doctor and two anesthesiologists that I know of that live on the street. They turned the doctor away and made her go all the way around Beach Road and to get out to 81. They told her that she'd have to wait if she didn't turn around until the runners came through. And then she would have to drive very slow because of the straggler runners. It's wrong. First of all, Beach Road, Long Point, and Muskrat Bay were not notified. There was a sheriff up at the top of the entry where they come out of the Plank Road or the Oneida Shores Park. And these people do not move over. They think it's Oneida or the Onondaga Parkway, and it isn't. So I am registering a complaint along with several other neighbors because I know I come to the meetings. We need, okay. Yeah, because it's not fair to the neighbors. You know, granted it only lasts maybe 2 or 3 hours, but still it's from 8 o'clock in the morning until noon on a Saturday. It's wrong. Thank you.
Else? Okay, make a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Favor?
Aye.